Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease it.
AMC Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality.
Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease it.
AMC Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality. Tune into our live stream, Real Speaking, with yours truly every second and fourth Friday as of November 2021. You can contact us at the information on screen. Tune into our live stream, Real Speaking, with yours truly every second and fourth Friday as of November 2021. You can contact us at the information on screen.
Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease it.
AMC Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality.
Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease it.
AMC Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality.
Sell it,
Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality.
Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease it.
AMC Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality.
Welcome, welcome, Denise. Good to have you. Welcome, welcome, Denise. Good to have you. Welcome, welcome, Denise. Yeah, but oh, what's that? Let me try.
Tune into our live stream, Real Speaking, with yours truly every second and fourth Friday as of November 2021. You can contact us at the information on screen.
Okay, so I am about to begin, and I just want to welcome everyone who is online just now on Facebook and on YouTube. And just to let you know that this is our premiere broadcast, which is this is the premiere broadcast of Real Estatically Speaking and more. I am your host, Karen Cook, and I am a real estate dealer and the owner of KMC Property Services. I have been in the real estate business for over 12 years, and I have gained a wealth of experience from being in this business over that period. And of course, I think I have more than enough to share with you, along with our lovely guest that we have tonight, who has been in the financial industry for over 30 years. She also has a wealth of information to impart to us tonight. And I would just like us to pause at this time, and this information that we will impart to you, we are trusting that you will be empowered and you will be enriched, and that you will not keep it to yourself, but that you will share it with your family and friends, both now and after the broadcast. So at this time, I'm going to start with the national anthem, and I'm going to say it as a prayer. I'm going to just say the first verse. So those of you who, well, my guest is on, so she can say it along with me. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with your mighty hand. Keep us free from evil power. Be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defender, grant us wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever. Jamaica, Jamaica, land we love. And of course, our program is entitled Real Estatically Speaking. And speaking about land, Jamaica land we love. And it's a very good way to segue into this quote. And the quote reads, Buy on the fringe and wait. Buy land near a growing city. Buy real estate when other people want to sell. Hold what you buy. Yes. So, real estatically speaking, and more, we are going to go right into the introduction of our speaker, and thereafter, we will have our question. It will be in the format of a question and answer. So please stay tuned. Okay, so tonight's guest, special guest we have with us is Miss Delia Burke. And Miss Burke is a mortgage broker and she's a realtor associate. She's also a JP. She's an accomplished person in her own right. And so tonight, we are happy to have her on our first program. So, ladies and gentlemen who are in Facebook land, you are in YouTube land, I'm asking you to just type in the chat, just give her some thumbs up, however you see fit or feel fit. Feel free to just type and just make her welcome. So at this time, I'm going to just hand the floor over to Miss Burke, and then we'll go right into a time of question and answer. So that's Miss Burke. So I'm going to actually just adjust our screen a little. Give me a few minutes, please. Let me adjust the screen. All right. So here we are. And of course, I said the format of tonight's program will be a question and answer program. So, Miss Burke, being the knowledgeable and well-experienced mortgage broker you are, your first question is, what should buyers do firstly in preparation to buy a property?
All right. First of all, I'd love to say thank you for having me. It is my pleasure to be here with you this evening, and I do hope that whatever information I impart, that your guest or guest will benefit immensely from it. Home acquisition is one of the largest and most important and expensive accomplishments. And as such, we must prepare and prepare well for it. One of the first things I would recommend to persons when you're thinking of home acquisition is to start saving early. There's no doubt that you are going to need funds if you're buying a property, and therefore, the minute you start working, you need to start saving. And even if you haven't started early, it's not too late. The next thing I would recommend is that you reduce your unnecessary spending. As I said, the real estate acquisition is one of the largest acquisitions that we'll ever have in our lifetime. And therefore, there's no time now to take on unnecessary spending. You must learn strategies for saving your down payment. Different institutions will have different types of accounts that would encourage you to save, and therefore you must find an instrument to help you to save towards your goal. Most institutions, if not all institutions, financial institutions, that is, all financial institutions, they do have financial advisors. And therefore, you can walk into a financial advisor, tell that person what your plans are, how much you can afford to put down, and you can start a savings account to put aside those funds. Of course, the process includes other spending, not just your deposit. So you have to learn strategies to take care of your closing costs. So you're saving towards your deposit, you're saving towards your closing costs, and therefore we must develop strategies to achieve that. And the most important thing that we must do is to get a pre-approval. I'm pretty sure later on in our discussion, we'll talk again about pre-approval, the pre-approval process. But pre-approval is necessary because what the pre-approval does, it helps you to determine what you can afford. It helps you to determine affordability. And getting a pre-approval in all institutions, mortgage brokers, um, do provide pre-approval for you, and most times this process is like 24 hours in a lot of places. I provide pre-approval, same day pre-approvals. Wherever your financial institution is, it can be done online. So you can go online just to be aware as to how much you can afford to think about the cost of the purchase that you want to take on.
Okay, that was a mouthful. So I trust that our listeners would have been paying keen attention to that detailed response that you have just given. Ms. Burke, what are the requirements to obtain a mortgage loan?
One of the things I want to mention to persons that the mortgage process is not an onerous one. It is not. And I do not want us to feel daunted about the process at all. Yeah? You must secure in order to get a mortgage, you need, one of the things that I say to persons before you start the process, that you must have an attorney. Yeah? One of the most important thing that we look at is your ability to pay, which is your income. So your income, your credit rating, your credit score is required. Of course, the income is broken down in different parts because we require your pay slip, we require your income letter, we require your, if you're abroad, your W-2 for the US, the P60 for the UK, or any other form of document that accumulates your total income for the year. And also we require your bank statement to show that the income that your pay slip says you earn goes into an account. Yeah. So most importantly, as I mentioned, is your proof of income. You need proof of age, because your proof of age will determine how long we can give you to repay that loan. Yeah. Of course, there are forms that in all institutions will have for you to complete, your application form, and other forms. Of course, for the property that you're purchasing, we also require documentations on that property, because you need to get things like a valuation report on the property. That valuation report will tell you they describe the property. It will tell you what the property values. And of course, the institution is going to compare the value of the property as stated in the valuation report to the price that you're paying for it. Yeah, we need a surveyor's report. A surveyor's report is a report that shows you how your land, the shape of the land, and if there's a house, how it sits on that land. So it's really just a sketch of what the property is like. Of course, copy title, but a lot of these documents that we're mentioning now are documents that the attorneys will provide. So for you personally, all you need, proof of income, proof of age, importantly, a TRN. You must have a TRN number. All persons who are purchasing properties in Jamaica are required to have a TRN number, and the application for the TRN is very easy. If you reside abroad, you can go online, download that form, get that form notarized, get your ID notarized, um, and just send them to Jamaica. Of course, someone has to pick it up, so you need to give authority to the TRN department to give that TRN to someone else. So those are the major documents that you require.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Ms. Burke. So we'll go on to our next question. And this one is, if the buyer doesn't wish to use a realtor because he or she is buying the property they're currently renting, what advice would you give him or her?
Thank you for that question. It's a very important question because it's one of those things that we come across quite often. One of the main things I would recommend to that person is that they secure the services of an attorney, because this process is a very important one. Not because you're buying from this person that you know for 20, 30 years, it means that you should not get an attorney. So you must secure the services of an attorney. And try not to use the same attorney as the vendor. One of my philosophies is that one person cannot talk to both sides of their mouth. And therefore, you need to have independent attorneys in the process. Do not pay funds directly to the vendor. Sometimes you know the person and they will say, give me $1 million now and then we will do the transaction. No. All funding must pass through your attorney. Sometimes they want to give you a vendor's mortgage. It is something that you have to consider carefully if that's what you want to do, because you can walk into an institution and get a regular mortgage. So importantly, 4 things: secure the services of an attorney. Do not use the same attorney as the vendor. Do not pay funds directly to the vendor, but through your attorney. And reconsider the option of a vendor's mortgage, because this is always recommended to persons.
Okay, very important. All right, so our next question is, what if the buyer is saying that they can't afford the deposit and or the closing costs? What advice would you give
This
them?
is a very, very important question, because we find a number of persons have not prepared themselves for the purchase process. And therefore, oftentimes, they have excellent income where they can pay the mortgage, but they cannot find their deposit and their closing costs. Of course, one may ask, can I get into a transaction without paying a deposit? And the answer is no. The person who is selling the property, they have expenses. And of course, if you're selling something you don't want to pay to sell, only 5% is required for you to pay down. And this 5% is a cost that is used by the attorney to defray the cost that the vendors would have. It was quite recently that it was reduced from 10% to 5%. And as a result of that reduction, what we saw happening is that also other costs went down. So it magnifies the importance of saving, because a minimum of 5% is needed. Remember, we spoke about the very first question, what we should do: start saving, because you need 5%. Institutions from time to time may offer a 100% mortgage, because you have institutions now who are offering a 100% mortgage. If the institutions offer you a 100% mortgage and you pay down 5%, then you can get back that 5% that you have paid down. Sometimes you can have arrangements. I see now where the National Housing Trust, they're able to give persons money towards the deposit and the closing costs. And all they do is write a commitment letter, give the vendors a commitment letter to pay. So even if you don't pay that 5%, the NHT will pay that 5% for you, as long as you have that funds available. Yeah. So the NHT can offer you a deposit. Institutions now, are offering you an unsecured loan outside of your mortgage loan. Institutions are doing that too. So they look at your income and say, oh, but this person can afford to pay a mortgage and pay another loan, and they can offer you that 5%. Bear in mind that even when you pay down 5%, institutions can give you 97%. That is what is happening now, especially at Victoria Mutual. They offer you a 97% loan. So even if you pay down 5%, the additional 2% that you're getting in the form of a loan can go towards your closing costs. I hope I answered your question, Miss Cole.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Thank you so much for that. What are the associated mortgage costs?
As I always say to persons, the process of buying a property is not an onerous one. We are very transparent and we give you all the cost upfront that you would incur. Of course, we spoke about the 5% deposit that is required. There are other costs that we call closing costs. And that it can be it is broken down in different components, some of which you may not have to pay upfront depending on the arrangement that you get in. So, cost. The additional cost will run you about 8% of the purchase price. And it includes closing costs, which is a transfer cost and registration cost. And I should go on to explain to you that the transfer costs and the registration costs are all government components. So, so the transfer will be taking it from the previous owners into your name, and that cost is shared. Some of that cost is shared. Some of that cost is shared. There's also a registration cost, and that registration cost is the amount that you would incur to register your mortgage on the title. Yeah. We talk about prepayable expenses, which is what the institutions will ask you for. Again, this amount you may not have to pay upfront, depending on whether you borrow more than 95%. In the case we mentioned earlier, you borrowed 97, so you'll have an additional 2, and therefore it's only the difference that you would pay. And that includes insurance, life insurance, because each mortgager has to be insured, whether for the loan amount or for less, depending on what the arrangement is. There is property insurance if it's a house or a commercial building. There is insurance on that property. Yeah, and that is what sometimes you hear it referred to as escrow. There's a cost to prepare the sale agreement, which is a cost that is borne between yourself and the vendor. So these days I'm seeing a cost of 100,000. So 50,000 will be borne by the vendor and 50,000 by you, the purchaser. And then we talk about a valuation report. Of course, every property that you're purchasing, you must get a report on it, to tell us about the property. And that cost will be borne by the purchaser, and also the surveyor's report, which we mentioned earlier. And the last but not least is your attorney's cost. So these are the associated mortgage costs that persons will call closing costs. They give it a broad name called closing costs. Of course, just to recap, your transfer and registration costs, your prepayable expenses, the cost for the sale agreement, cost for your valuation report, the surveyor's report, and the attorney's cost. Sometimes, depending on the property that you're buying, you may pay some of these costs upfront in the initial stages when you're paying for the sale agreement, or some institutions like Gore will give you the valuation report and the surveyor's report. So depending on the arrangement you get in, you may or may not have these costs upfront.
Okay. And that was a mouthful.
Of course,
So
we invite
now,
persons to give us a call, if you want clarity on some of the things that we have mentioned.
so what I'll ask you to do, just in a little while, you can just type in your contact information in the chat, so that persons who are interested in speaking with you further, that they can do that. All right, as soon as you are able to, I'm asking you please when you're through. All right, so our final question is, what is joint mortgage financing?
Joint mortgage financing is an arrangement with the National Housing Trust. Each contributor of the trust is entitled to a benefit. The benefit right now is a maximum of 6.5 million. What the trust has said, look here, you are purchasing a property. I may not be able to give you all the funds I cannot give you all the funds to purchase that property because the maximum I can give you is 6.5. So you may have to go to another institution to get some more funds. And that is the joint mortgage financing. So they're joining with another institution to provide you with the total funding to purchase your property. Most institutions do joint mortgage financing right now. What will happen when you're purchasing? You will just be required to complete a joint mortgage financing application form, and your loans officer, your broker, they will make the application to the National Housing Trust for you. So you don't have to go to the trust to do anything. And what happens when the approval is received from the National Housing Trust? Whatever conditions the National Housing Trust gives on that letter, they'll say a 40-year loan at a rate of 0%, and they'll give you an amount. The institution who is doing that joint mortgage financing must work with those conditions. So they can't increase the amount. They can decrease the amount because maybe you don't need all of it. But that rarely happens because we take the full amount from the trust first, which offers the lowest rate, and then the rest from the other institution. They may vary the loan term, because some persons will say, boy, I know I can get a 40-year loan term, but I don't want it for 40 years. I want it for 30. So that can be varied. But the interest rate, they can't touch it at all. And of course, the National Housing Trust gives interest rate 0%. 0% sometimes. Maximum rate they offer is 4%. Yeah. So that is what the joint mortgage financing is about. It allows you to use your NHT benefits and use a benefit from another institution, combine both, and then make your purchases.
Wow. So for those of you who have never learned about the term joint mortgage financing, there you have it. Ms. Burke has just explained, what that term means, or if you weren't aware that you could get that assistance any at all. Right? She has just informed us on it. All right.
Might I mention something else, Karen? I mentioned that the joint mortgage financing amount is 6.5 million, but you would find persons who have gotten a benefit 15 years ago and they can get another benefit now. So 15 years after your first benefit, you can get what they call a home improvement loan. And that also can be applied. The home improvement loan amount right now is 2.5 million. Bear in mind that for each of the 6.5 benefit that you get, the National Housing Trust also offers a 5% that goes towards your cost. So if we're writing an application for you with 6.5 million, we end up doing 6.8 to 5 million, adding the 5% to it, because they normally give you an amount that they say can go towards your cost. But because we don't give it to you in your hand, we apply it to the mortgage.
All right, let me see if I understand you correctly, Ms. Burke. Because from my understanding with the trust, the only other benefit they give you is the home improvement.
When you say other
So
benefit, what do you mean? After you get your 6.5?
after you get that
15
first
years
benefit,
after, it's
so
kind
even if it was a home improvement that you got, that's the only benefit you will ever get. Oh, not that's the only substantive benefit you will get at that time, right? And thereafter, as you mentioned about after the 15 years. So after the 15 years, you are eligible for the home improvement. However, from my understanding, if for instance, you have never say you got married then, and your partner has never benefited from the NHT, from an NHT, has not have never gotten an NHT benefit, but you had a benefit before.
of.
My understanding is that you would now be eligible for the once you have passed that 15-year threshold, you would have now been eligible to get that amount, and your partner would be eligible for that 6.5. So that is how I understand how the 6.5, a full benefit of 6.5 along with a home improvement would work.
So you're suggesting that two persons can combine, one person
Mhm.
using their 6.5 and one person using their 2.5.
Yes, yes.
And
And that is that person has already gotten the benefit. I wasn't quite clear
no,
on
no,
what you were saying earlier.
that person could not have had a benefit before and get a 6.5 now, you know. The only person
Mm-hmm.
who can get a 6.5 is the person who's coming in for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
person now who got it was a 6.5, maybe many years ago it was 4.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
10
man.
years after they met a new like myself, I met a new husband and they say, oh, you know, we're going to buy a home for both of us, and the husband did not
Mm-hmm.
get a benefit before. He could come into that transaction with his 6.5, and I could come
Right.
into that transaction with my 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, but I was just saying that I wasn't so clear how you tied in the 2.5 explanation that you were
15 years
giving.
after you get one benefit.
Okay. Oh, you're just saying that after that benefit,
15
after that
years
first
after
benefit.
you
Okay.
get your first benefit, you can get a
Mm-hmm.
second benefit, and the
Mm-hmm.
maximum you can get for that second benefit is 2.5 million. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I could tell you,
Providing it remains at that same ceiling, because remember the
yeah,
ceiling
whatever the
is
amount is at the
50.
time, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, in today's Jamaica, their amount is 2.5. Bear in mind too that only two persons can combine to purchase a property. So you couldn't have
Okay.
your two sons and your daughter and your sister and your brother and everybody say, all right, we're going to take everybody 6.5 and put it together and purchase one property for 50 million. No, only two benefits.
Okay, and that is key for persons to understand.
Right. What I'd like to do, Karen, is to give you a very, very quick example of a
Mm-hmm.
mortgage pay of a payment. For example,
Mm-hmm.
someone who's borrowing $10 million and they're getting 6.85 from the NHT and 3,150 from VM. Because this is a joint mortgage financing we're talking about now. They can
Mm-hmm.
get a loan term of 40 years because we go up to age 70. So whatever age you are, we add that age, take that age from 70, and that determines the loan term that we can give to you. So this is a very young person can get a 40-year loan term, and they're just 25. The interest rate that we're looking at is an interest rate of 3% from the NHD and 6.95% from Victor Mitchell. Victor Mitchell's first time homeowner rate is 6.95. The NHT's maximum rate is 4%. Of course, you know, if you're a government worker, you get 1% less. Depending on the category that you fall in, you can get up to 0%. So $10 million, where we have 6.85 from NHT and 3,150,000 from VMBS over 40 years, where NHT's rate is 3% and Victor Mutual's rate is 6.95%. That loan payment works out to be 58,000,
Okay.
where the principal and interest would be about 44, the escrow Remember, I said your mortgage payment can be insurance on property, insurance on life. The escrow for both things would maybe about 12,000 for both. And of course, there's a savings component. Yeah. So everything will come to about 58,000. I had a client
Okay.
recently who she's buying a Gore property and she is elated because the amount of money that she's paying for mortgage is less than the rent that she's paying now. Yes,
Wow.
he's over the
Awesome.
moon because her interest rate from the NHT is 0%, interest rate from
Mm-hmm.
VMBS is 6.95%, and it comes to less than our current mortgage. So it's something that we all can do. We just have to sit down and determine the how.
Indeed, indeed. And there's a topical issue going on right now, but I'm not sure I want to get into it because just generally speaking, Delia, because we are both coming from the financial institution background, and we know from when mortgage rates have been traveling, from when mortgage rates were at 19.5%.
Mm-hmm,
So now we are down to zero. Man,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
aren't we in for some exciting times?
And that is the reason why I recommend to persons you just save towards your deposit because it can be done. You don't have to buy a house to live in. You can buy a house to rent.
Right.
So you can live at home with your parents and you don't have a need to move, but you buy something and rent it. Property values
Right.
move significantly over time, and therefore you will end up having equity in your property. This is one of the things that I recommend to people that they really need to do. You know,
Right. So now is really the time for persons to jump on the mortgage bandwagon, jump on the real estate bandwagon, and really take advantage of these low interest rates. It has never been better. So now we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to just play the commercial, and then I'll come back with our question and answers. Thank you once again, Ms. Burke. Do
most
not run away.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease
C Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality. With yours truly every second and fourth Friday as of November 2021. You can contact us at the information on screen. Livestream, Real speaking, with yours truly every second and fourth Friday as of November 2021. You can contact us at the information on screen.
Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease it.
KMC Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality. Real estate dream a reality.
All right. So we're back on, and I'm going to invite the audience, those of you who have questions, could you please type it in the chat so that we can answer any question that you may have? Is this supposed to be a question? I'm trying to figure out. I'm seeing something, but not. I'm not sure it's a question. Right. Do we have any question? All right. So if we have no further question, I will proceed because we're just about running out of time. And I want to thank you very much again, our special guest, Miss Burke, for agreeing to come and to share with us, in such an in-depth way. And I trust that for those of us who are on will definitely take advantage of the services Ms. Burke offers. She's a mortgage broker as well as she's a realtor associate. So she'll type her information in the chat just a bit for you to contact her and get further information. All right. Thanks again. All right. So I have another quote for us. Oh, I am just seeing license. I'm just seeing a question, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure I understand this question. What is the fastest process to obtain a splinter license? A splinter license for what? Could you please explain a little further for me, Manira? Thanks for coming, Manira. Good to see you. Manira? All right. Hope I can answer you afterwards because I'm not quite sure what the question, if the question is relating to becoming a realtor associate. Is that it? Well, if that's the case, then I could take that question. For persons who wish to first become a real estate agent by going to the Real Estate Institute. There is an institute presently, and I don't have the number with me right now, but the information is online, and you can find them at Splinter Title. Oh, Splinter Title. Okay, all right. So it's not real estate license; it's Splinter Title. All right, Ms. Burke, you wanna take that one? Where is she? Where is Miss Burke? All right, so Splinter Title. Splinter Title, for most definitely, that's a legal matter to get that done. You have to. So we lost Miss Burke a while ago, so let me get her back on. Let's get her back on. All right, so let me get you back on. All right, so she's asking, I know that you're not an attorney, but based on your wealth of information of experience, you may be able to assist her somewhat. So she's asking, what's the process of obtaining a splinter title? Meaning, um, somebody left an estate and I guess you need to do subdivision so that persons can get their portion of the property. So she wants to know what's the fastest process to get that done.
That is something that an attorney will have to assist you with. But what I do know is that if what you're saying is correct about them having a large plot of land and wanting to cut it up, um, and it is by way of a will, then that sounds like two separate transactions. The will has to be probated, and then the splintering has to be done. Just today, I was talking to an attorney about probating a will, and she told me that that part of it can take up to a year. The courts, the new courts office is advocating for it to be done in 4 months. But she told me that she has not seen it done in 4 months. The regular time she has seen that part of it done is in a year. What I do know is that if you're talking about the splintering of a title, whereby you now have to get surveyor's report and all of that, some of that can be done while the will is being administered. Yeah. So, but the best person to guide you in that process is an attorney at law.
All right, so we're planning to have an attorney eventually on the program at some point in time because we want to expose you all to the different professionals that you will need to guide you through your real estate purchase. So, at some point in time, we will have an attorney on the program to guide you through that process. So until then, we can refer you to one if it's an urgent need. If you can't wait, you can get referral to an attorney who can assist you further with that. All right. Thank you so much again, Miss Burke.
You're most welcome.
All right. So now we're winding down nicely. And I have another quote for us, and it says, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Profound. All right, so we're basically close to the end. And just to let you know, by way of announcement, that our next broadcast will be on November 26th at 7:30 p.m. again. And this time, we are going to have another exciting topic. And this one will be how to fast track your savings and investment to make home ownership a reality. And we'll be having a special guest from JNMB. So stay tuned for that. So at this time, we're going to say the national anthem, and then we will, adjourn thereafter. All right, so Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with your mighty hand. Keep us free from evil power. Be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defender, grant us wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever. Jamaica, 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 land we love. So we have come to the end of another of our first broadcasts, Real Speaking, and more. And so I'll just play our, our jingle once again, and then you don't hear from me again for the rest of the night. I'll just say good night. Have a wonderful time.
Truly every second and fourth Friday as of November 2021. You can contact us at the information on screen.
Sell it, buy it, rent it, lease it.
AMC Property Services, making your real estate dream a reality.